Well, that one's a wrap. As I sit here, it's about 2 minutes left in the playoff game between Indiana and Connecticut. Indiana's down 21. They're emptying their benches, so this one's over. Just wanted to go ahead and get some thoughts in. I actually wrote some thoughts down for this game. I actually wanted to try to get a coherent video together, but I don't know if it's going to work or not. Indiana played bad. They shot bad. Had some pretty good looks, but their shots weren't good. I give Connecticut a lot of credit. They hit their shots. They were very good in their shots. Still, overall, this game really just shows the WNBA is not ready for prime time at all. A lot of the issues that happened on the court and the way Connecticut played was a lot of what needs to go if this league's ever going to truly thrive. They're basically just 11 teams playing like the bad boy Pistons, and then you got Indiana trying to actually play basketball. And they probably need to get meaner. I mean, they probably need to, go out there and do something. Otherwise, just keep getting knocked around unless they want to get knocked around like the Chicago Bulls did to the bad boy Pistons for 3 years in a row. But just a weird game. The broadcasters even admitted that it was a very choppy start, which is pretty ironic because I have on my notes these broadcasters suck. They're bad, calling people by the wrong names, and just not doing a good job. The officiating was horrendous. That's not why Indiana lost. They lost because they didn't play good, but overall they were just not ready for the bright lights. Started off, they called a foul on Aliyah Boston, who was like 10 feet away from the daggone play. They had to. Indiana waste a challenge in their first minute of the game just to make sure the call was not on their second best player or possibly the third best player, part of the big four-headed monster, who gets in foul trouble with garbage calls, which a few more would be called on in this game. Had to make sure that didn't happen. Credit to Christy Sides, she had to do it. And she also finally got a technical foul for standing up for a team for getting their crappy fouls. They always get called on them, but you have to find a way to press through that, and they've not found that out yet. That's the young team blues, and they need to get better with that. Let's see here, and then of course, also in the first minute, I think it was Dejanay Carrington poked Caitlin Clark in the eye, and I'm telling you that was 100% on purpose. She poked her and just turned around like nothing happened. I mean, it seems like if you poke somebody in the eye, even if you have long nails, you at least think something like, "Oh, should I help her?" Caitlin immediately, you could tell she had a black eye almost instantly, and her shooting was surprisingly not so good. There's no surprise to that. She clearly had a black eye, even though they never showed a close-up of her. Like I said 2 minutes ago, they never showed a close-up. You could even see, even from far away, she had the black eye developing. So, missed her first few threes, finally got a layup, and I think on their first or second layup, she was running to the rim. Marina Mayberry fouled her 3 times. Never got called for it, and Caitlin still got to the rim and got a layup. Bad calls. They called Lexie Hull out of bounds. She hadn't established herself in bounds when she caught a pass, which they could call that on every play if they wanted to. They got Dantas and Wheeler in there, and they did some good things for us. They also seemed a little unprepared at times, or out of sync, I should say, with the team. They had very, very Aliyah Boston. To me, showed she is that team's anchor in the first half, or really the whole game, really. She was their anchor. She had amazing defense, had good mid-range, especially in the first half. Lexie was amazing on the boards, fighting for the boards. They got her in foul trouble because the officials are trash, but again, you just have to be better. And so that was the first quarter. Like I said, Christy Sides actually protected Aliyah for once, so she did that more often. Second quarter, again, just had all these clock issues. And one of the things I wrote down in my notes was get your shit together. I try to cuss in these videos, not because I have like any moral objection to it or as I'm trying to get monetized or whatever, but I just kind of want to avoid it. But I'm like, get it together, man. Apparently they had some sort of gadgets to instantly reset the clock, which unsurprisingly malfunctioned. Good job, WNBA, for showing us that you are not ready for the prime time. The broadcasters continue to be bad. I'm telling you, next year the WNBA needs to pay Nancy Lieberman whatever she wants. Get her Away from doing play-by-play for the Oklahoma City Thunder, whatever they're paying her, double it. The WNBA needs her. She's all about promoting the entire league and all of women's basketball, not just narratives. They need to start putting, I think, Damaris Dantes or Tammy Figbenley, starting them. Melissa Smith was just not good. I don't know if it's playing against her girlfriend or seeing, wow, my girlfriend's really not a good person. I would hope she would already recognize that, but there's bad sequence there. They went up. Indiana went up for a layup, got pretty blatantly fouled, wasn't called. Then the other end of the floor, Connecticut went for a foul, was not fouled, and it was called. So, like I said, Caitlin still could not shoot her way out of a paper bag. They had good ball movement for Connecticut. They did a great job. I felt like Indiana did a great job defensively, putting their hands up, forcing them to move the ball. Lexie Hull had some amazing offensive glass moments, but it's kind of easy to have that confidence when you know that you're going to poke the person in the eye in the first play of the game and have all the whistles go your way. I'll get back to that in a second. Try to look at some of this here. The WNBA the broadcast actually admitted that all the money, the revenue streams, how much the tickets cost, the home attendance and away attendance, as well as the ratings, are all Caitlin. So they finally drop an Angel Reese, it looks like. It's about time. Another more trash officiating in the second quarter. Kelsey Mitchell tripped out of bounds, was tripped, fell out of bounds. It was a turnover. She got hacked on a layup that she made, and then Caitlin Clark was blocked, and she was hacked, not called. Like I said, she couldn't shoot, and they're sitting there talking about, oh man, whatever name Bonner's doing great defense. And I'm like, all right, first of all, she's 6'4". If you're 4 feet taller, it's 4 feet, may as well be 4 feet taller, 4 inches taller with long arms. Of course, you're gonna have great defense on a 6 foot tall point guard. The fact that Connecticut has to go to that tells you how good Caitlin is, and plus she also can't see out of one eye. Great D, LOL. First half came to an end. Indy's down. It's still a game, but you can tell they just weren't ready. They had to deal with that adversity better than they did. So it turns out in the start of the third quarter, they call Melissa Thomas playoff AT. Not bad for somebody who's never won a championship since in her 10 or so years in the league. Never won one in college either. And, if you give yourself that nickname, it's kind of like playoff P for Paul George. It's pathetic. 24 minutes into the game, Caitlin finally hits a three. And Aliyah Boston hit a big mid-range, which, again, I said she's still the anchor. And but it's just a bad third quarter, just trying to be a bad second half. They missed their shots. They started chucking up bad shots. And they started praying. Marina Mayberry did a great job, but at the same time, she's also very, very soft. She knew Chicago wasn't going anywhere, and she quit on them. Now look, and that says a lot about Chicago. They're a bad organization, but she specifically requested a trade to the Stacked Suns team. That's weak. That's LeBron stuff. And Chicago gave in, so Marina Mayberry and Chicago seems like a match made in heaven because they're both so weak, but they split. Now she's in a better place to get a very possibly an undeserved championship. I don't know. Another bad whistle on Caitlin Clark. This time, she made contact with Dejanay Carrington's face, which this was actually a basketball play, and Dejanay Carrington was whining about it, even though she blatantly and purposely poked Caitlin Clark in the eye to start the game. And she's in there whining about it, which is who she is. There's another sequence where Dejanay missed a layup, missed a free throw, and two Indiana players are going for the rebound, and Connecticut Sun player just comes in and tackles both of them and gets the ball. They're like, oh wow, she's so good, and I'm like, or so much effort. I'm like, no, she tackled him. Let's see here, more bad calls out of bounds. Call was pretty blatantly off of Connecticut, got called off of Indiana. The officials actually overturned the call while I believe it's Kelsey Mitchell was standing out of bounds, getting ready to inbound the ball, and Marina Mayberry just walks over and knocks the ball out of her hand. That should have been a technical foul, and it turned out to be nothing. It was either Kelsey or Erica Wheeler. I can't remember who it was, but just bad. It was bad officiating. I mean, they didn't need it. They're going to beat Indiana straight up. Indiana was not ready. They weren't ready for the adversity. But I mean, to just play as dirty as that, this is the WNBA that they need to get away from. They need to have some pretty sweeping changes, whether officially or under the table. They need to make sure that this type of just slog fest, dirty play, whining goes away. And again, they start off the fourth quarter. The broadcasters are just saying, "Wow, they're so good and tough defensively." Connecticut is. I'm like, well, they're dirty. Of course they are. The bad boy Pistons were tough and good defensively. They were dirty. And they finally mentioned that Caitlin Clark had a black eye forming. They finally mentioned that at the start of the fourth quarter. It had been forming and noticeable since the first minute of the game when Dejanay Carrington poked her in the eye on purpose. Dejanay Carrington also had a big rundown block. I believe it was Tammy Figbinley. Maybe it was Damaris Dantas. I can't remember. Hit her arm about 4 inches below her hand. It was a foul. They didn't call it. It was a big block. They tried. Kelsey Mitchell finally started going to the rim because her threes weren't falling, but no, it was too late. But it is fun watching her. She's only like 5'8", going in amongst the redwoods. Kind of reminds me of Allen Iverson, I got to say, the way she will just run through traffic to get these layups. I wish she had Allen Iverson's attitude and swagger. I wish the whole team had that, and they would actually fight them for a little bit. I mean, I don't want it to come to a fight, but that's what's going to have to happen. If they just stand there and get pushed around like they did, I mean, they got to at least make them pay for somehow, but I guess not. And then they actually admitted on the broadcast, which made me laugh, a breakout search on Google. What is the WNBA playoff format? Just say, our league, nobody has paid any attention to it until this year when Caitlin Clark showed up. Just say it. Just come out and say it. Even I don't know is it still, I know this round is the best first two games are played with the home team. If the home team wins both, the series is over. I don't think Indiana can come back from this. I think it's in their head. I think they're checked out for the season. And of course, the broadcast also wouldn't show a close-up of Caitlin Clark's eye, which to me was very telling that they knew what had happened and they didn't want to make the league look bad, even though they made it look bad in other ways and pointed it out. But yeah, congrats to Connecticut. They played a good game. They're going to beat them again tomorrow or Tuesday, whenever they play again. They're going to beat them again. There's no question about that in my mind. But they're the better team, and but they're also, along with the Aces, are very emblematic of the WNBA we need to get away from. This type of defense, dirty play, good tough defense that's dirty play. We need to get to more of a freewheeling style. And, expansion cannot come soon enough. We cannot be having these stacked teams where weak people like Marina Mayberry, mentally weak people like Marina Mayberry, can just be like, I don't want to be here. Trade me to Connecticut. Okay. I mean, is Clutch Sports representing her? I think they are. But, yeah, congrats to them. Maybe Indiana will do something tomorrow or Tuesday, the next game, but I kind of doubt it. Kind of see this being a two and done. At which point the league will go back to not having anybody watch anything. So, hate it, but that's how it goes. Like I said, it's part of the new team blues, and hopefully they'll look back on this in a couple of years and say, yeah, that was some of the mistakes we needed to make and get out of the way. But we'll see. Thanks for watching, and I'll have at least one more video about the Fever for this, or maybe to end the season. I don't know, but talk to you guys later.